been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only wrote like once. Life moves fast when you do what you want. At this time, doing what I want. Hope you're doing what you want. What else? But what you want?
I don't know. My new bitch look like Halle Berry. Look like Halle Berry. Look like Halle Berry. But she don't love me, she too scary. My old bitch float like Jackie Brown. I wanna know but she too down.
What it is, what it do, what's poppin'? It's Marquise Q back in the building.
Yo, what's good in the hood? It's your boy Raider Rashawn. We back.
And it's your boy Easy ER, P to the OG. Glad to be back in this.
And this is another installment. Eric likes to call it a rendition. It really doesn't matter what it is. With another episode of Broken Records. And on this very, very special episode, second episode, first guest, we had to do it off right. We got Mo Money, Mo Problem.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
Uh-huh.
You know the vibes.
Mo, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Oh.
Well, I have been tuned in to Way to the 8 since the very beginning. Not too long ago, they asked me to be a part of the family, and so I'm super excited about that. And I'm really just looking forward to see all the things that we have coming for you guys, because it's about to get real. It's about to get crazy. So be on the lookout for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this goes deeper than just the brand. You've been a long-term friend of ours. We fought with you the long way.
For sure.
With us the long way. So this goes beyond what the business side or what they have on paper. This is actual relationship. This is actual camaraderie. So before we get this kicked off, we just have to let you know and let the people know that we fought with you the long way. You're not just a fan, not just a guest. You're a part of the family, like you said. And we're happy to have you on this Broken Record and happy to have your support and loyalty, through this journey with us.
Oh, I love y'all. So happy to be here. And I'm thankful for y'all being such great friends to me, like you said, for such a long time. So it just makes it that much more special.
Blessings. And on this, who wants to tell the people what we talking about today?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, let them know.
Man. Ladies and gentlemen of the neighborhood, we are back with a classic. Our man came and dropped off his EP, Fuck the World, and had the whole world shook. Then he came back and took us to his own dystopia, his own place and time, and shared with us a piece of his mind. Ladies and gentlemen of the neighborhood, I present to you guys the Broken Record of Wasteland by Brent Faiyaz.
Hold on. We gotta everybody pull out what you got in the cup. I don't think Sean got nothing, but you can I guess I ain't gonna say what it is, but put that to the camera. We're gonna talk to this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Brent Faiyaz, Wasteland. It was one of the few R&B albums that dropped this year. It's not too many R&B albums that dropped, but his kind of one that stood out, as one of the most. Morgan, what was your initial reaction when he dropped this album?
Well, I don't know. I was just like, okay. So I feel like we're finally getting some more, which I feel like people were waiting on for a while. And so I was excited to listen to it because I had really just started getting into Brent for real, around that time. So I was like, well, this is giving me new material to work with, so I'm excited. And he did not disappoint.
Definitely not.
Did not.
What you think about it, Sean?
Well, as a avid Brent listener, like me and you, Eric, we've been tapped into Brent for a little minute. Q, you too. I ain't trying to say it. I ain't trying to say.
I was on him late. Though.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But you was still tapped in at a good time to, you know what I'm saying? You still tapped in at a solid time. But I don't know, bro. I low-key feel that he waited a little too long before he dropped Wasteland, because he dropped Fuck the World in February of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, we had a few singles. We had what, Wasting Time, Dead Man Walking. So we had a few. So we had a few like singles to chew on and whatnot. But I kind of felt like he took a little minute. But once I actually listened to the project, I was like, okay, I can see that he actually tried to make a real complete project. Like to this date, right now, like even though this is only technically his sophomore project, this is his best body of work. Like we just started the Broken Record, but I can say that confidently. Like this is definitely his best body of work.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I feel like I recognize this was a serious album. Like once I saw that there were skits on there, we're gonna dive into the actual content of the body of work later. But just seeing the amount of tracks that it had with the limited features that they had, you could tell he really put a lot into this. And to circle back with all the singles that he dropped prior to the album, you got to remember we had Gravity. That was the link up he had with Tyler, the Creator, and DJ Dahi. And for those who don't know, I'll just do a little research. DJ Dahi got his hands on so many hit songs, like Tyler, the Creator.
Talk about it.
Griselda. Like he's definitely been tapped in. And if I'm not mistaken, so aside from DJ Dahi, like it's just the Neptunes, for example, he was able to link up and get that track off. Like you just see a lot of things manifesting in Brent's project and his body of work that you don't see in a lot of R&B artists that are trying to get in this lane. So for him to distinguish himself just from an outside looking in perspective at his track list, I was very impressed.
Morgan, when did you start listening to Brent? Because you say you started like really tapping into him recently. Like when did you actually like consider yourself a Brent Faiyaz fan?
So when he dropped Fuck the World, I listened to it. I was like, damn, okay. You got my attention. So I listened to it and I was playing it. But then, like Sean said, like, he just kind of disappeared. So then once he started talking more about, once he started, like, dropping previews about his album, I was like, okay, so now I got to prep myself. You know how it be. When you find out somebody about to drop an album or, say, like, a sequel to a movie's coming out, you got to go watch the original. So I started going back to listen, and I was like, okay, get myself in a mindset. Yep. And then when he dropped it, I was just like, he all right with me. He all right. He all right with me.
That's good.
So really just like early this year, yeah.
Yeah. When I said that, I really wasn't like tapped into Brent when I get everybody else was like Eric and Rashawn when I say that. I really didn't know like he was a part of like the whole Sonder like, music group. So when people say like you didn't know he was on Sonder, I said, who the hell is Sonder? They was like, that's the music group.
He said, all right.
And that's your truth.
I was like, is that something like that? Like, who the hell is Sonder? Like, who is this person y'all talking about? But as I started like going back and listening to him, I was like, damn, this nigga really do be on like that singing, like rapping type shit. And I feel like the world was kind of missing that because I feel like Drake was holding the throne for a while. Then we had Raw Wave that was kind of on the same lane. But I feel like Brent is almost doing it his own way because I feel like Brent himself is an aesthetic. I feel like people are kind of dressing like him. Like niggas are growing their hair out. Me, I'm niggas. I feel like it's like I didn't say I got to be a Brent Faiyaz fan until Fuck the World, obviously, because Fuck the World was probably Eric. You call this a classic. Like that's one of the first things you said when we got on the Broken Record. And I was going to challenge you on that to see if like it's already like deemed as a classic.
Well, as soon as I spoke it became. But I feel like we all got to remember the hold it had on everybody.
Yeah,
definitely. Like it was. I think everybody was listening to it. People that didn't even know Brent, like Morgan, for example, didn't even know Brent, but you don't know how many people were kind of tapped into that aesthetic. And given it was 2020 at the time, with everybody was pushing out music, I thought that was a top tier project, and it still got the replay value to this day.
For sure.
For sure. Let's talk about the album then. What are some above me is Rashawn. Rashawn, what is like some of your favorite songs off the album, if you had to say?
I just want to say this. We didn't get to this yet, but the first skit, Villain's Theme, the intro. Like when I first listened to this project, I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why did you put this as the first song?" I was like, I can't even lie.
Right.
I was like, I gotta be honest. Like, it was like people talking in the background, and so I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, I didn't really understand the movie yet until I finished the project. So I would say like definitely spot on. Like not even the intro because it's technically the intro, but it's a skit. Like it's one of the skits like you were saying, but it's just a good intro skit. It kind of like set the tone for the whole project almost. And even when the skits came like later down the line, it was like, oh, okay, we're about to finish up the story or about to finish up where we was at with it or whatever. So I definitely feel like that started off the project the right way. I definitely got to say that. But a few songs I like All Mine, of course. Ghetto Gatsby, Addictions, Rolling Stone, Jackie Brown. Like it's a few. It's definitely a few. Yeah. Those are a few I probably would say right now. That was some of my favorites for sure. What about you, Eric?
For myself, man, I would say we kind of got the same thing going on. But if I had to pick a solid three that really stand out to me, gotta roll with Jackie Brown. I feel as if what you're talking about, it's been one of the ones I got to repeat a lot. And role models, I would say in preparation for this, I've been playing role models like crazy.
Ooh, I like that. That's solid.
I'm glad you said "fuck you talking about," bro, because a lot of niggas sleep on "fuck you talking about."
Both of them boys are talking their shit in that song.
I didn't want to say that one. Like, I feel like a lot of people fuck with that song, like on the project, and I definitely fuck with the song, but I definitely feel like it gets overshadowed sometimes. I don't know. To me, I feel like a lot of people fuck with that song. What y'all think?
I think so too. It's one of the nicer, deeper cuts on the album.
I feel like people do, but it's not one of the more talked about songs. Like, I feel like this is one of those albums where, like, if somebody asks you what your favorite song is, if you're not careful, you might start listening to all the songs. You feel me?
Yes.
So, like, that's how I feel. I feel like
exactly.
there isn't a favorite song on there, but a crowd favorite, I don't know if that's how people perceive it, but I like that song too. I definitely do.
What are some of your favorites on there?
Well, that one, let's see. Jackie Brown, All Mine, of course. I also like Rolling Stone. I'm gonna stop there because I really could keep going, but those stand out to me. Even like the singles. Like, I didn't want to be that person to name the singles, but those two.
Come on, Dead Man Walking, bro. That is a wasting time. Those are bro. Those songs are crazy.
Wasted time.
Let's be real,
bro. Drake gave one of his best like feature verses on "Wasting Time." I'm a stand by that.
That's a tough one. I don't know. He definitely did it a solid. He didn't mess around. I can say that for sure.
I feel like we haven't had that side of like rapping, like straight up rapping, like no like funny stuff, no like really like saying nothing catchy. I'm just talking about like rapping. We haven't had that side of rapping Drake since If You're Reading This Too Late, or if you want to go back further than that, Nothing Was the Same Drake. Like he was actually like spitting like some heavy stuff on Wasting Time.
He like to give little tidbits of it here and there, but he don't be doing it like that no more for real.
Don't.
Until her loss. But we'll get to that later.
I'm gonna let y'all have that one. Hey, see what
okay.
Man, for one, ain't it?
Out here in the middle of the ocean, man.
I think
I'm sorry. Loose Change. Come on. I gotta add that one to my list. Loose Change.
Loose Change hard.
Yeah.
Loose Change.
Yes.
I feel like most of the songs that we named are like the general consistency. All Mine, Jackie Brown, of course. I don't know. I'm gonna say one that I don't think I heard yet. Gravity with you mentioned it, Eric, is like as far as like one of the like songs that you know the word like before like the singles. But I remember when Gravity first like dropped, like it was just like one of those songs like damn, I would never think that Tyler the Creator and Brent Faiyaz would like ever like make a song together. But like hearing it actually makes sense because he was on Tyler's album too. Like he had a song going with Tyler, I believe, on Call Me If You Get Lost. They definitely was working together for a little minute. But overall, I think that the songs, I feel like there's more like, because I feel like in the album, how many songs is it? 19 songs? That's a good amount of songs for an album, but that's including the skits though. I think like those songs, I think there's more good songs than bad songs. I haven't heard like a whole lot of misses. I think all the songs are like decent. I feel like there's certain songs that people are gonna go back to. Like, I don't think you have to listen to the whole album from beginning to end to like, like fuck with it. I feel like the songs are placed in a certain way, or like the songs are like catchy enough to like you just have to like listen to a certain amount of song and you'll fall back in love with the album.
And then next thing you know, you're listening to the whole thing.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, like, a perk of listening to this album, it's like a whole story, as Sean said, but like you just can't help like once you start the beginning to finish it, because it's a concise story. And I feel like that's one of the cooler aspects of this album is the conceptual aspect. You don't really see a lot of that, and for him to pull it off in the way he did, I was a huge fan.
Did y'all like the skits? Like, how'd y'all feel about them? I asked some people about their opinions on them. Some people, I heard more people say they didn't like the skits. So like, how do y'all feel about the skits?
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't fuck with the
So
skits.
what did they not like about the skits?
They say it was too like dramatic. They said that the skits I'm glad somebody mentioned the word movie, because they felt like they were like watching a movie, listening to this album. They like had a beginning, a middle, like drama, a plot, and then the ending was like, obviously him getting in, the car accident. I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's not a spoiler, but at the end he got in that car accident trying to save his baby mama because she's about to jump off a bridge. So they felt like it was a very theatrical, like the skits were theatrical. I guess they didn't like the aspect of it, which I don't understand why they wouldn't like that.
I don't understand that either.
I feel like that's just part of our culture.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way back to Michael Jackson and Thriller. Like, what do you not like?
Exactly.
And now I didn't necessarily relate to it, but I feel like it's something that people go through to some extent all the time. So it just made it that much more relatable. Like, people have baby mama issues all the time, like just relationship issues in general. So I just felt like that just added that relatability to the whole album. Because, I mean, when we think about it, people relate to his music, even though people talk about how toxic it is, but it's relatable music and everybody can find something that they dealt with in his music. So when I heard this, I was like, I'm not going through that, but I know somebody is. So it made me want to just listen even more, because it's just an experience. So I don't know.
I'm glad you said that, Mo, because I honestly feel like Brent in the future really been like the two, like the toxic kings, you could say, like whatever. So I feel like he really was just giving like the real perspective, like of him living that lifestyle. Like, you can live that lifestyle, you can be toxic, you can do all that other stuff, but like at some point reality gonna hit. And I feel like that's what makes people fuck with the album that much more, because it's reality. Like, even though that's probably like was far-fetched or made it very dramatic, I feel like it really made the album stick that much more. I felt like he was really trying to make it feel like an experience listening to the album, not just like listening to it for just to say you fuck with it. And say he said some toxic shit.
And he even mentioned how people say that he's toxic. I can't remember which song it was, but in the very beginning, he even said it, like in one of the songs. So he knows, but
He was a Villain's theme.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
And to dive a little deeper with Villain's theme, the background vocals that you're hearing in there, that's him talking with Georgia Smith, and they're talking about the perception of him and being toxic and everything like that. And I just kind of dived into the lyrics, but like you said, Sean, if you're not really looking at the lyrics, it just sound like a whole bunch of like words just here going past your ears. So in listening to it, he just talked about, and I'm not saying I can justify it, I'm just telling you his words, but he said toxicity is an escape for him. He calls it a temporary euphoria. And in doing so, he engaged in romantic relationships only for the social advantage. And he ended that entire spoken word verse by saying, "What purposes do your vices serve in your life?" And I feel like, I don't know, that was just an interesting question to pose out there, because, we all have our vices, but like, what are we doing it for? And I feel like that's one of the themes that we saw Brent kind of explore on this album. Just the way his life has evolved since Saunderson to now just, becoming this public figure and bearing that responsibility. And you even see that trickle down into his own romantic relationships that he has. He references someone wanting him to stay down or hold him down, but he's becoming a whole different person now. And it's just interesting to see him handle that and, kind of address how he views himself in that toxic limelight.
Or he said that I was watching $1 Million Worth of Game interview with, him and Gilly and the other dude. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It's a very funny interview. I laughed my ass off. But in the interview, he was talking about how like the label of being toxic, like, just pretty much like fell on him. And And he says you understand like the stuff he's saying could be considered toxic, but he says that it's kind of like a made up word that people just started using, like gaslighting. Like when I was growing up, I know I never heard the word gaslighting, but now you're labeling people.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So like he says that the word toxic is kind of like a made up, man-made construct that, people just say because it's more so popular to say. It's not really because they know the definition of it. It's just that it's more so like if I see anything that may be close to being toxic or anything that I don't like, I'm labeled as toxic. It doesn't mean that it's right or if it's actually being toxic. But that interview was pretty good. So if you want to get a deeper dive into Brent Faiyaz, I know he doesn't do a whole lot of interviews. I think he did one with Angela Yee. He did one where he was painting. I can't remember that one either at the top of my head. But
I remember that one.
Yeah, dude's an interesting dude. I think they were painting naked people or something like that during the interview.
They definitely were.
Right. But going into a little bit more about the album, what were some things? I know Eric usually asks this, but what were some things y'all didn't like about the album? Other than something I mentioned about the skits, is there anything that y'all didn't like about the album or wish that he would have done differently? And all at once, please.
I don't know if there's anything I would suggest him doing differently. However, I guess my only negative or that I can say about the album is probably the last song, Angel. It's not that I have a knock against it, but I feel like it's an interesting way to start a song. You got to get through that after just hearing the wake-up call. I don't know. It's kind of jarring a little bit to me when I hear it. I don't know. So, but when I listen to it, it's not bad. It's it serves the purpose of the outro. But I would say that'd be my only knock on this project.
Yeah, I don't know if there's nothing I really dislike about the album. Really. I low-key feel like this is a really complete project. I kind of feel what Eric's saying with the last song, the outro. He could have rounded it out a little bit better with that. I really don't know he meant what he was going with that, but no cap. But yeah, that's really the only. I don't really think I have no dislikes with the project. Really. I wish he would have sung a little more on some songs, but you know what I'm saying. I really feel like we got a little bit of. I don't want to say rapping Brent, but we got a little bit of rapping Brent on this project. I don't know if anybody really caught it or not, but just a little bit. What y'all think? What you think, Mo?
I would have to agree. Like you said, it's a very complete project. Can't even say that it wasn't really long enough. It was a whole hour long. And, a lot of times when you're listening to stuff, if it starts to feel like it's dragging on, it's okay, when is this going to be over? But I didn't feel like that at all. Mm-hmm. It's very solid. Oh. I think the features, they did what they had to do. Yeah, so I don't really have any negative feedback. I mean, and who am I to give negative feedback to him? But, I have nothing to say. He did that.
You mentioned the features did what they needed to do. Did you enjoy that Alicia Keys feature on Ghetto Gatsby?
I feel like Miss Alicia Keys. I feel like I thought it was interesting. I didn't hate it. I don't want to say that it could have done it without, but I feel like he had his reasons as to why he chose her and why he decided to keep the song. So I just tried to look at it in that light and just appreciate it from that standpoint, which I was able to do. I don't hate it. I really don't. But I did question it at first.
So let me ask you this, Mo. Do you think someone else should have sung that part instead of Alicia Keys? Did you picture another R&B singer, maybe he went to them and they couldn't do it? Or what's your take?
I don't know. Because, her voice is just very low and raspy. I think the way she sounded on it, I don't know that. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that I feel like should have done that over her. But at the same time, it was just, I think maybe just her feature in general. I just questioned it. I was just like, okay, but okay, right. We can go with it.
She wasn't even singing though; she was rapping. She was really rapping. She wasn't even.
She definitely was.
She definitely was. So that's what I'm saying. She wasn't really doing what she usually does. So at that point, it's just okay, this is different. Okay, I was just that.
It was random. That's what it was.
I thought she was doing spoken word for. I said the beat cut off. She started like rapping to like a melody. I said, she doing spoken word right now.
I thought she was reading a poem.
Oh God.
Okay.
But this is the time of the episode that we're gonna play a little game, do a little trivia. Don't like you don't know, because you definitely know what's about to happen. So the question really directed towards Mo, but I mean, this can be like a round table kind of thing. I'm not gonna answer because I'm not gonna read them off. But what do y'all think? According to Spotify, what song do y'all think is the lead single off of Wasteland? According to stream, like what do you think is the most streamed song off Wasteland? If you had to guess,
Let Mo go first.
Well, I'm trying to take into consideration the fact that the singles were released before.
that's the biggest hint. Give yourself.
That's the biggest.
If outside the singles, I would definitely have to say All Mine. But if we're including the singles, I would
No, the singles are included. You have to include the singles.
Okay. I honestly feel like it's gonna be Gravity.
Okay. John, Eric, y'all have any guesses, or y'all just gonna pass this? Y'all just gonna pass on this one?
I mean, I feel like naturally, most of us would probably think wasting time, like, of course, but
Yeah.
you probably got to put Gravity up there too. So, but I would say wasting time if I had to bet money, probably.
See, and I was about to change mine to Wasting Time, but since you said it, I'm gonna keep Gravity.
Definitely.
Well, neither one of those are correct. It's the oldest song, so the song. So you was right, more. You was like going down the right path as far as the singles, but there was one song.
Dead Man Walking.
Yeah, Dead Man Walking is the one that has the most streams because it was the first
Valid though.
single.
Valid.
Yeah, it had 240 million streams.
Sheesh. It's a heavy hitter.
A heavy hitter. We got to think about it. We had that song for a little minute though. Like we had that song like 2 years before the album dropped.
For sure.
That song was out months before Gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Didn't he just drop it randomly at one time? Was it random?
He dropped on his birthday.
Yeah. All right. Next question. We're going to like performance on the chart. So think about, the Billboard 100 or Billboard 200. I'm sorry. What peak position do you think the album reached? Like the highest it got on the charts, like as far as albums, what do you think its peak position was on the Billboard 200?
I don't remember it going number one.
Yeah, I'll say 2 for sure. I know it didn't go number 1, but
Which is crazy.
it was up there though.
On the Billboard 200?
Billboard 200, it had to go number 2.
I don't know. That's hard because when I think about Brent, I think about a lot of people listen to him, but is he like a worldwide superstar? Like, do people all over the world listen to Brent? And so when you say Billboard 200, that's not something you just make your way up, just like strolling through the park. You feel me? So that's kind of hard for me. Like,
Well, is this the US Billboard Q?
Yeah, U.S. Billboard. Yeah, U.S. Billboard.
Okay, but still, that makes a difference.
But that's funny though, because I feel like Brent is definitely like a walking down the street type of. Like he makes music for niggas who's walking down the street, so that's interesting that you said that.
Okay, I would believe that, but like, that's facts. I don't know. I feel like, if we're talking US 200, I think
So
I
Sean and Eric said
say like top 5. I'll say 3. I want to say 4. I'm gonna say 4.
it was actually 2. It's 2. He peaked at number 2.
Okay, good job, y'all.
That's really crazy though when you think about it though.
Yeah.
Like,
You gotta think about who
crazy.
beat him. Or who's number 1. Yeah.
who dropped around the same time as Brent?
I'm not sure. I feel like it was a Caucasian artist maybe. Because they always beat, they're the ones that beat us.
Sheesh.
So this is kind of like the same realm. It's not a Billboard 100, but it's the like R&B version of the Billboard. What peak position did they receive on the R&B, like just strictly R&B albums? What peak position did they have on the Billboard R&B side?
I said 1.
I say 1.
Gotta be.
It was one. It's definitely number 1 on R&B albums.
And for how long? That's the real question.
I don't know that one. I don't know. It definitely was on there as soon as it dropped.
That's a
So
good
the
question.
to be number one, the debut was kind of impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
All right, last question. I'm not gonna bombard you. I only had 4 questions to ask. How many songs? So we're talking about the Billboard Hot 100. So the 200 was just for albums, but the 100 is for singles. How many songs appeared they were just on there, like they were at least in the 100. How many songs on Wasteland appeared on the Hot Billboard 100? If you had to guess. So 19 songs in total, including the skits. So just guess, like out of 19 songs, how many of those songs were actually on the Billboard Hot 100?
I'm gonna say. I really want to say everything but skits. I'm gonna say like 13.
13. Put a lot of
So
faith in
before
the
you said the skits too,
I love
I
to
said
say
I had
all of them.
6.
I don't know.
Well, it's at any time.
Yeah, at any time. So, you can get on and then you get dropped off, but at one point it was on there. So
Okay, I would probably say
they don't have to be there on the same time. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it was a time period where, like, some were on there and others weren't, but the fact that it was on there is what's included in the count.
I'm gonna change my answer to like 9. I think.
Okay, I'm gonna say 16.
So all the songs except for the skits appeared on the Hot Billboard 100 because 3 skits.
That's what I was thinking too, but once you said
it might be.
I
don't know.
Okay, so we got 6. Morgan, how many you said?
9.
9. And Sean, you said 16.
16, baby. Top heavy, Brent.
It's actually 7, so Eric was the closest one.
Yay!
Jeez. That's tough.
And the songs, and this is all right here. I ain't making this up. It's all documented. The songs were All Mine, Loose Change, Price of Fame, Rolling Stone, Ghetto Gatsby, Heal Your Heart, Interlude, and Fuck You Talking About.
Okay.
I didn't have Loose Change and Heal Your Heart in my list.
Absolutely not. I don't know.
Loose Change hard though. Like, niggas fuck with Loose Change.
I didn't know it was on Billboard or streaming or anything like not like streaming, but it was charted.
Hey man,
I don't make
rules.
Hey, kudos to Brent, man.
Yeah, but thanks for playing Q's trivia. Yo, hey. Before we get too deep into this, let's pay some bills first. Let's show some love first. This broken record is sponsored by our homeboy, long-term friend, Ty, who's a CEO / president / founder of his brand, Rails Revenge. Ty, what's good with you?
What's up?
Outside of, you being the CEO, founder of your brand, Rails Revenge, we kind of go way back to the days at USC. Always been a solid guy, always show love. But talking about your brand now, well, first I want to thank you for sponsoring this broken record. You were one of the first people I thought about when I thought to who should we sponsor, who should we get to sponsor this broken record by? So trying to get back into it. And like I said, your name was one of the first people that came up to mind because you've just been solid, outside of, being a good businessman. You also been a good friend, a good brother. So just letting people know what you got, let the people know like what you got brewing. Just give us a breakdown. Well, let me ask a question first. What is Rails Revenge?
So Rails Revenge is basically a brand. I started maybe 2.5 years ago. Just something that's really streetwear now. The origin from it is from the passing of my brother. So it's basically like living through me. So that's why it's called Rails Revenge. So yeah, my main focus right now is really just streetwear. I do like accessories, of course, t-shirts, shorts, everything in between that. Like, I try to really anything you think of, I try to make it basically.
What's up? So what's like the process been like so far? Like, what's been like the best part about it thus far, like creating this brand?
Really getting reaction from the customers. Like everybody that buy my clothes is not people that I personally know. So like it's good when you got people that they supporting But it feels like even better when you have people that you don't know support, because it's like you don't owe me anything, and you really just like the item. So it's good when somebody wearing it, they use this like as his best fit. Like say if somebody going to homecoming, they going out, like they going on a date, and they wearing my clothes. I mean, you really cherish it, or you really like it. So I mean, that feels good, especially as a brand owner, because like everything I put into it, it's like it really like coming into fruition.
That's solid. Yeah, I can't begin to fathom like what it takes to like start a brand off and sustain it and maintain it. So if you had to say, what's your favorite piece that you dropped so far? Like if you had to pick like a particular piece that you've been doing so far, like what's been your favorite piece?
It's a good question. I say maybe I say it's between like a couple of my fitteds and maybe the Hank Aaron tee. Like I really like that. But really, I know it's gonna sound real cliche, just like with any maybe artist or anything. Like the unreleased stuff is really like I'm really like excited about, because I'm really trying to branch out, do some new stuff, like new fitteds, hoodies, all that. So like that's why I'm really more excited now, like stuff that y'all maybe haven't seen. That's why I'm really like, oh, this is my favorite piece right now. And really with favorite pieces, like it changes almost every time I creating a new item, because after I get done after I sold the item, it already came out. I ain't gonna say it's kind of old to me, because usually I had the design maybe a good while before it hits the public. So by the time it does hit the public, it's kind of like old to me. Just similar to like an artist when they drop a song, they don't listen to that 1,000 times, but when you hearing it, it's your first time. So they may look at it as like, it's not really nothing to me. So it's kind of the same thing for me.
I'm glad you made that comparison, that analogy, because I was definitely gonna like say that if you didn't say it. Like, I feel like as an artist, I would imagine that hearing a song played so many times, you probably get like old of it, or like you probably get tired of it, but you might fall in love with it again. Like once you start hearing or seeing that people like actually fuck with it. So I can definitely tell that you like a people person. Like you try to cater to the reactions and try to like adhere to like your customers or whatnot. So I think you really take a lot into like your brand, and like you really try to personalize it to fit the needs. And I remember when you first dropped, I don't know now if it's what you consider your first drop, but I remember the first one that I purchased was the one with the black tee and the Grim Reaper, and it had like the red letters on it. I don't know if you remember exactly what the name was. You probably do. I don't know why I'm saying you probably don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that tee. Like it's crazy you bringing that up. It was like that's really like the early phases of me like creating the brand. So it's like, like bringing that tee up, it bring like a lot of memories. It's just like where I was in that place, and just like, because at that time I felt like, damn, like how can I explain it? Like my feet was still like getting wet. Like my feet still getting wet at this point, but it's just like I've been doing it for a while. But even at that time, it was just like, I wouldn't say it was nerve wracking, but it's just like, damn, like, all right, I'm dropping this tee. All right, let me see how I do. Because I dropped one before that, it did pretty well. So it's like, once you do well with the first tee, it's like, damn, people waiting like, what's next? So that was like the next stuff. That probably was like the second start I dropped. So it was just good to see a lot of people fuck with that one too. So
For sure. Well, Ty, I appreciate you sharing your vision, your brand, this platform, Way to 8 Music Corner, what we're about. We try to highlight, people that we've been rocking with, first and foremost, but then we try to highlight, stuff that's going on in the state of South Carolina. And, that's two birds with one stone with having you sponsor this episode and just having you, having a relationship with you like all together. So I really appreciate you for taking the time, and we're definitely going to be anticipating your next release, your next drop. And then we're going to have like a separate episode where we're going to talk about more in depth with what you have, and hopefully it'll be around the time that you release again, so we can start promoting that. But again, thank you, my boy, and can't wait for what you got in store for the future.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate this interview. Appreciate the sponsorship, everything. Like you said, we've been locked in for a little minute, so man, it's all love in my end with y'all.
Yes, sir.
That was fun.
We'll ask for the prize later.
Yeah, I guess you would.
You enjoy that, Morgan? I'm trying to implement something new.
I really did. Like you said it, but I still didn't really know what to expect. But I like those questions. It really made me think, because that's something like when you're listening to it, like, okay, you're not really thinking about that stuff. So when you really sit down and think about it, it's like, okay, I know how I was listening to it, and I know other people were listening to it, but how are they listening to it? You feel me? Yeah. It made me have to think.
Sheesh. Breaking it down.
You know me.
I have to table that one for another BR, maybe. Bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a question for Mo, though. Just overall, just listening to Brent Faiyaz when you came in and then hearing this project, as a woman, what is your perspective on Brent Faiyaz?
See, I feel like my opinion is going to be different than most people. Well, I feel like women are more open to like the behaviors of men because they doing it themselves. Like I feel like the world has just become every man for themselves. So I don't feel like women's opinions would be that much different. But if I had to really think about it, I don't know, like he just be getting on there talking about experience, like I said, and we all have our own experiences, and we've all been through things that we would have never guessed we would have been through, would have never wanted to see ourselves go through. So I can appreciate the fact that he's getting on here and talking about it. I'll put it that way.
Respect.
Well, I just want to say that when we initially were like talking about this BR, I said we have to get, a woman to be on this because 3 niggas talking about Brent Faiyaz Wasteland album is not probably going to go over well. So
y'all needed it.
Thank you, Mo.
Y'all needed it. You're welcome.
yeah, I don't know. I definitely agree with Morgan. I feel like everybody's kind of like on their own right now, and I feel like music that being transparent. I think now instead of like the shit that we know what's going on, but like all like the stuff that I feel like there's 2 different sides of hip hop. I feel like there's stuff that people go through, and there's stuff that we just hear about, like the gang life, like stuff that we actually don't know about, but we can like hear it through people's music. I feel like that's the other side of the world, or like the other side of us that we are curious about, but we actually exactly don't know. I feel like Brent's talking about. I think most said like he's really making relatable music right now. Even if you're not going through that, currently right now, either you've been through it at some point, or you're probably going to go through it. It's probably going to hit a little bit different for you. Like when you actually like go in that situation, be like, damn, this nigga talking about something that I'm actually going through. So I feel like he's bringing back the transparency, the relatability of music. And I think that's why a lot of people fuck with it. Like you said, baby mama drama, being labeled as toxic, living the lifestyle he's living, even though, like you said, you can't relate to it. Maybe somebody that's relating to it or whatever. So I think the transparency in his music is really what's gonna I feel like that's gonna make him have longevity because he's and a whole aesthetic per se.
And I'll just say this: life has a funny way of showing you some things. Like people say, it can never be me. Life will show you that it can definitely and will be you. And so I don't know. That's just another aspect of it. Like you listen to his music, like dang, like this nigga really be going through it, but it literally could be you at any time. It might have been you in the past.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely will give him some longevity. I agree with that because people 20 years from now are going to be going through the same things. 20 years ago. So,
they're definitely going to be worse.
Right.
I'm going to tell you. The way
hell race.
I got a hot take, though.
Oh, Lord.
Which album is better? Wasteland or Anniversary by Bryson Tiller?
Wasteland easy.
Wasteland easy?
Sorry.
I ain't gonna lie, Tom. If you would have asked me Wasteland or a goddamn, I don't know, like a Trap Soul, that probably would have made me think a little bit.
Okay. I was about to say that Wasteland.
You were comparing sophomore projects, right? Yeah.
Right. Wasteland is definitely better than Anniversary. When you talk about Trap Soul, is Wasteland better than True to Self?
Let me look at True to Self real quick because True to Self got some classics.
I think True to Self is better.
Classics.
True to Self is better than Wasteland, in my opinion. I ain't gonna cap.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
True to Self is better than Wasteland. It might be, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. True to Self got some hits.
I just
Don't
feel
get
like
too high, blowing smoke.
Don't get too high. Come on.
I
Come
just
on
feel
now.
like he's.
I'm gonna
got
play
some
this project when
ones.
we get off. No.
You got some ones. I'm telling you, bro.
You see this shit right here?
Yo,
You see this shit right
I
here?
knew it.
Bro.
I knew it.
look at this man.
Shoot yourself is better
Get
than
this
Wasteland.
man.
Bro,
Eee.
you got
That might be a
Like,
question we not
Wow.
You might have to open that
We
one
gotta
to
post
the
that on the
people.
page.
Yeah.
for sure. We're gonna have to open that one up for the people. For sure.
Yeah, we got.
Q, read them off real quick.
Bro, we got goddamn Rain on Me,
Wait on me.
Longer Friends,
Uh-huh.
Don't Get Too High, Blowing
Sheesh.
Smoke, We Both Know, You Got It, In Check, Self-Made. I don't even got to run through the rest of them. Like,
In
those are
Check?
the ones.
Oh my God, self-made,
Oh my
check,
God.
blowing smoke. Don't get too high. You can just stop right there.
Money Problems, Ben's Truck. Like, come on, dog. Set It Off, bro. He killing it with Set It Off.
Yeah. That's that. We can't even go. Yeah, we got to pose that question to the people for sure.
Yeah, facts. We have to. But I feel like the time has come to answer this question. Which one is better, Fuck the World or Wasteland? Like comparing his two projects, Fuck the World or Wasteland.
I wish I could cop out
I
and
would
say it's too
say, yeah, that's a tough one.
It's
I
definitely
would say
tough.
in terms of Fuck the World just kind of seemed like a collection of good songs, almost like a playlist of good songs, really. And Wasteland just kind of seemed like an actual structured, complete project.
Sean,
So-
you know what that reminds me of?
What?
The conversation we had about Summer Walker. You remember that? We said the same thing.
Absolutely.
We said
But
the
you
same
got to
thing.
think about it though, like once an artist like, because that first project be like, that be some hits. You got to think about it. Like if you go back to any artist, like you think of Cole, Kendrick, Drake, that first project, they be putting a lot out there. But the next project, they really got time. They done made so much music. They get time to really like make a story or make a complete, you know what I'm saying, a project they want to have. So I would say Fuck the World has better songs probably. But you really would probably have to say that Wasteland is better though. It's more music. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's an experience. And I feel like Fuck the World is kind of just a collection of good songs. But if I had to choose one, like if I had to live with only one of them, I'm picking Fuck the World. So
Definitely.
yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the
So
song
don't make me
list
choose.
now. I'm just like, yeah.
No cap.
Y'all remember how many people were playing Clouded?
You couldn't get away from it.
Everybody was playing.
Bro.
Come on.
Even Fuck the World, Been Away. I know what. Man, listen.
Come on.
Chill out.
Come on now.
Lost Kids Get Money. Let's get into it.
I didn't
I
go
just
get the
feel like
microphone.
this shit-
I could just sing the whole album to y'all right now.
No lie. Such
I
a
ain't gonna
great
lie.
project, bro.
We got some history behind Lost Kids Getting Money.
Hey,
Never.
come on. Archive files there.
Talk about it.
Did you know he freestyled that song? Like he was actually freestyling on that song,
Really?
I'm surprised. It sounds like a freestyle.
bro. But we like it sounded like a song that he made, but he's literally like, I never heard a nigga freestyle by singing. Like, you know how hard that got to be to freestyle while singing?
I'm just saying shit.
Tone, pitch, and all
You
that
a
jazz.
singing ass
Yeah.
nigga. Hey.
I do it all the
If there's
time.
one thing he is,
Sean.
I don't got a lot of shots. Bro, what's funny is niggas really don't know Sean can sing for real. Like, I think it's like a
You be
rumor.
playing.
But niggas really don't be like, Sean, you can't sing. Sean be like, shit.
I heard it. I mean, I haven't heard it, but I believe it. I believe
Definitely. I can carry a tune a little bit.
it.
That's all he
Wow.
be telling people. He don't confirm it or deny. He'll just be like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hear for yourself. Believe it.
Oh
wrong.
God.
But yeah, if y'all we already answered the hard questions. We already did the quiz. I think it's time for the ratings.
Mhm.
I can go first since I already, I've been asking y'all majority of the questions. I've been like, kind of directing it away from me. So if I had to rate this album, y'all have to do it like me. So I'm doing it out of 10. Y'all can do it by 5, by 3, whatever y'all want to do. But for me, if I had to rate it out of 10, I ain't gonna care. It's a 9. It's a 9 out of 10. Just because of it was some steep competition among 2022. So you had
Mhm.
other albums that dropped. You had Beyonce, Kendrick, Giveon,
Mhm.
like the various artists that dropped. And I feel like since we're still talking about his album, and for him to be the artist he is, you got to think about it. Brent, he hasn't like toured like heavily. Like a lot of niggas don't know him, like like physically. Like niggas don't have actually like seen him in person. That's how most niggas get their money by touring, by selling merch or whatnot. So the fact that he's still like he peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200, he peaked at number 1 on R.
Independent too.
Yeah, but he's independent. So I feel like when you gotta like take all that in consideration when we talk about like artistry, like just doing it all yourself, like getting it out the mud and making a project and still staying true to yourself. I have to take all that into consideration and still like be consistent. I think, like I said, this is for me. Like I'm not speaking for y'all, I'm speaking for me. It's got to be a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like it's about as perfect as a project you can get with all like the flaws. I feel like the features weren't all that good. Alicia Keys was decent, but I felt like she was gonna do something else on it. She's kind of like how I feel about Jamie Foxx on Roddy Ricch's "Live Life So Fast." Like I recognize the name, I appreciate that they were on there, but they didn't do exactly what I expect them to do. But Morgan said earlier, like I was able to appreciate it for what it was and not for what I wanted it to be. Like it's a difference when you look at music for what it is than having high expectations or having different expectations for it and not living up to that. But take it for what it is. The songs, All Mine, Jackie Brown, Price of Fame. We didn't mention that one. Price of Fame is a good ass song with that transition and whatnot, like to change the beat. And I don't know, man. I just think that, and Sean said it too. Like it's like a collective piece. Like it's better to fuck the world as far as like being a cohesive project, and it gives us like a whole theatrical feel behind it, like a storyline, a plot and what all, and it all ties in together. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
So next, go ahead, just go about the date. You and I are not that far apart, man. I was gonna say a 9 out of 10 myself. With my knock that I mentioned earlier being just that Angel song. But other than that, I don't know what more I could ask for. I can be greedy and ask for as far as with what he delivered. I don't think there's anything else I can expect out of this project. And I think just in hindsight too, the average Drake fan I am, the hindsight I have behind wasting time now, and with her loss coming out, like it's funny how much Brent and Drake are similar in the same path. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But those boys are both walking in the same steps. Some big steps right there. But for Wasteland, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Solid.
What you think, bro?
Sean directed the other people.
I knew he was gonna do it. That's why I was just waiting.
I'm trying to see what I guess think. That's all it is.
I was thinking like letter grades.
Do what you want to do. I'm just telling you what I did.
Even if I wanted to I'm thinking like A+ to like S. If I had to give it something, I would really give it like an A. Like I don't want to say A+ because I don't feel like it was perfect. I feel like nothing's perfect, but I really don't know what I would have wanted differently, or there wasn't really anything that I didn't like. And as an artist, I respect him, so automatically when he's putting something out, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna take it, like I said earlier, take it for what it is and try to see it from his perspective, putting it out. But honestly, I listen to these songs, when I think about the project as a whole, I would give it an A. But if I had to do the number scale, I guess an A would translate to like a 9-ish. A 9-ish. I wouldn't give it less than a 9 though, for sure.
Dang, that's interesting that all of y'all ratings were lower than mine. Oh God. But
wow.
I think kind of like what I said earlier, there's nothing really that I can really be like, yeah, I dislike this about the project. So it's really hard for me to just give it a 9. I feel like most of the time when I gave 9s in the past, like I had a specific reason or like why I didn't like it or whatever. So this project probably got to be a 9.5, like in my opinion. With the specific songs he had, I know some of the features didn't perform like they were supposed to, but I feel like for the most part, like out of all the songs and how long it was and the skits and everything, like, and what we were saying, independent. I kind of see why he took this long. Like we was talking about that earlier. Like he did take a little minute, but I kind of see why he took so long because he was working on this whole shit. So yeah, I probably would give it a 9.5. I can't even give it a 10 because this doesn't feel like Brent Faiyaz. Like this doesn't feel like his best work that he got. Like it feels like his best project so far, like cohesiveness, but I don't think we have heard the best Brent Faiyaz, I would say. So that's the only reason I won't give it like a 10 because he probably got some unreleased tracks right now that's better than everything on Wasteland. So
he definitely has potential to get better. Only better. Like
I don't see how he really get better from this, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like at some point, you know, he's gonna have to like talk about something different. Like I know he doesn't really agree with a toxic label, but that's just how it's hard with it. Like that's what people label it as. So I feel like in order for him to like get to another pinnacle, I feel like he's gonna have to like talk about something different. He doesn't have to, like he can do whatever he want. But I feel like in order for him to like, you know, like get people's attention still, like be consistent, I feel like he's gonna have to talk about something different. I feel like he's gonna have to drop something that people don't fuck with initially, but then as they like listen to as the time goes by, they're gonna like say, okay, this actually was a good project. Because right now, bro, with Fuck the World, with Wasteland, well, you know, Saunderson and all that, I really don't know where else he can take it from here. Like, I think he's really given us his best work thus far. Not saying he can't do better, but I feel like we've seen the peakness of Bryson Tiller right now. Not Bryson Tiller, I'm sorry, Brent Faiyaz right now.
I definitely feel why you saying like I feel why you say that, but in terms of like if you go back and listen to like some of his old projects with Saunderson and all that, like in terms of like his vocal control, the way he's singing, like you know what I'm saying, the certain runs that he hitting right now, he wasn't hitting a few years ago. So in terms of like music sonically, like how he's making songs and he's making music, like he's gotten better. Like you can listen to his old music and listen to his new music now. Like this might be his best like album, like in terms of like just singing, and you know what I'm saying. Like so that's why I feel like we ain't got the best Brent Faiyaz. I feel like once he put all of that together, the toxicness with he's just singing. He's singing different now. Like the way he's singing on this project, it makes it sound like we could just go hear him live right now, and he gonna sound just like that.
Yes,
like you can tell he got better.
No, it's just that I was going to touch on that. Like this album, if we were to like have this in a concert, this is like an intimate setting. Like no more than 70 people. We had a jazz lounge and the Brent Faiyaz. Everybody got a joint and everybody's vibing. I feel like that's exactly the vibe this would be as far as performance, or if you were to go on tour. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I don't want to keep comparing him to Drake, but like you said earlier, they're like on the same path. I feel like Drake, we just hear more and see more from him. So I feel like if you wanted something different from Brent, or were feeling like you would need something different for him to stay on the same level, I feel like he just has to go through more in life. Like he has to have those pinnacle moments like Drake. We may not see them, but he has to go through that stuff to be able to get different content from him. Because right now, he is just out here living his life, and I feel like nobody can tell him what to do, persuade him to do anything differently. Like, so I feel like at this time, that's what his life is. So that's what we're getting from him. So I don't know. I feel like he was just gonna have to experience some more stuff. Hopefully good, because he sound like he'd be dealing with a lot of bullshit.
I don't think he's gonna be able to put out as much content as Drake. Like I get what y'all saying by saying like he on the same path as Drake, but I just don't think, kind of what Q was saying, like I don't think he got enough content like as much as Drake got. Like so I feel like we probably
I think it's more so that they are both stepping in the same step. I don't think I think that's where the two differ. Brent Faiyaz is more incognito, and Drake, he wants that. He wants you to know who he is. He wants you to know down the block with Drake. Where Brent Faiyaz, he wants to creep around the corner, and I feel like they're both the same, two different sides of the same coin. You know what I'm
saying? With all that being said, I think what Brent's what his strength is also his weakness. And I say that to say, like, you know, Brent's independent. You know, he don't like to work with a lot of people. Like, he's very selective. But I feel that could also be his weakness, because I think about that when I think of J. Cole, because there was one point where J. Cole was like, no, I'm not working with nobody. Like, I want to, just do my own thing. Like, I know I can rap. I know I can produce. I'm just going to do it all by myself. But then J. Cole had a realization. He was like, do I really want to go through my whole career, look back on it, and say I ain't work with nobody? And that's when we started to realize or see that J. Cole was like working with Benny the Butcher. He was working with Young Thug. Started working with like different artists and whatnot. So I feel like Brent Faiyaz is at a point where like he's independent, but how independent can you be until it's like harmful to like your career? Like, do you really want to go throughout your whole career to say you ain't work with nobody? Like, that's notable. Like, he's doing it right now. Like, he got a song with Drake, he got a song with Tyler the Creator. But like, I feel like
that's all you
even
need.
said yeah, that's all you really need. Like, he's working with some heavy hitters. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like he got to do other people's project too. Like, he's got people on his project.
Yeah.
Like, how contributing, like getting his name out there to other people. That's really how you get your name out there, by like doing features, by like doing like, different stuff and whatnot. He did it for Tyler, but have you ever heard Brent Faiyaz or have you heard of Brent Faiyaz on somebody else's song? You know what I'm saying?
But do you think he cares about getting his name out there? Because I feel like everything he does has purpose, and I feel like everything he does to him is meaningful. Like, I feel like he's not just going to jump on anybody's song, and he's not just going to ask anybody to be on his song. So I really just feel like he is moving in his own way right now. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that. I think he enjoys like the rock star lifestyle, but I don't think he necessarily wants to be this huge public figure either. I don't know. That's just my perception of it, though.
I think he said that, so I think you're right when you said that. 'Cause I think he did say that.
Well. I might know him a little bit.
Jeez.
I remember when they said Brent Faiyaz was in Blythewood. I said, what the hell is Brent Faiyaz doing in Blythewood?
I remember that. When was that?
It was the Show You Off video. He was definitely in South Carolina. Like 100%.
I remember people saying
Bro, he been in Charlotte all the time.
Definitely.
Like we talked about his album, we about to reach the hour mark. We reached past it a little bit. If all hearts and minds are clear, again, Morgan, can't thank you enough for joining us, being part of the family, fucking with us, and sharing your opinions, your thoughts about an album that we fuck with, but we see that you fuck with it, just as much, by your rating. So we just want to thank you again for joining us, giving us your time on your busy schedule, because you could be doing other things like working out, doing whatever you got to do. But thank you for thank you for being a part, and just want to give our constant gratitude towards you, and can't wait to continue to work with you in the future.
So glad that y'all asked me to be on this. I'm really just thankful for the time to spend with y'all, but of course, good time with y'all as always, and being able to discuss music, especially because y'all have such elaborate opinions on music. So it's just good. I just love to hear what y'all think, honestly. So that was the best part of it for me. So thank y'all for having me.
To many more.
It's Q signing out.
All right, man. It's your boy, Raider Rashawn. Y'all be easy.
It's your boy, Easy RIP to the OG. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Run it up. We'll catch y'all on the next one.